Fuck it.
How you doing, bro? How's quarantine treating you?
Pretty amazing. That's my brand. Remember it. Be big.
Yes.
Fuck it, brand. So wait, you have jobs been hard to get since quarantine started? I assume so, right?
What happened?
Have jobs been difficult to get since quarantine started?
I guess it was, but you know what? I kind of took I took a ride because I had a bunch of editing to do. I had a music video that I already shot, and it was all in the can. I just had to edit it and put it out there. And I had a couple other projects that I was working on with two different bands. So that kind of sustained me. But when this thing came around, I actually jumped the wagon, and I started also dealing with all the basically the entire industry that kind of rose around this thing. So from masks to sanitizers, all that good stuff. So I basically just used all my connections and started moving some things around. And now we build an entire operation that runs a bunch of stuff. So it actually keeps me pretty busy. I haven't slept in like 2 months, I think.
Dang.
No, it's actually wild because like once a pandemic happens like this, you can see like what are necessities now for humans. Like entertainment is the first one to go, as well as like sports and like because they're not necessities. You know what I mean? So like I have a PA friend in New York who she does shows. She is like backstage during like plays and stuff, and she's gotten no jobs because all these plays are being canceled and stuff.
So the live stuff, yeah. But like if you think about it, Netflix and all that, all the streaming channels, they probably just boomed.
Netflix is probably
for sure. It's streaming and weed.
Yeah, exactly. Have you seen that new Hollywood thing on Netflix?
Which one?
The new Hollywood show that came out. It's like I forget who directed it, but it just came out on Netflix. I watched an episode last night. It wasn't very good, but I was wondering if you saw it.
So is there a point to your story, or just want to tell you about the shitty experience with the show?
I just wanted to share the experience for the show. Are you still in LA? Located in LA?
I am in LA. Yeah. Wait. So when you say a new Hollywood show, what do you mean? Like it's a show about Hollywood?
No, it's literally a show called Hollywood.
Oh, called Hollywood. Okay.
It's kind of just about making it in the industry. I don't know. It's kind of corny, honestly. I feel like there are so many shows like that.
Well, what made you think of it? Something must have made you think of it.
I was thinking about you in LA because right now it's 2 p.m. on your time, right? So I was thinking of the time zones and
you guys have 3 hours forward, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
cool.
Also, the last time I saw you at that vegan restaurant.
Vegan. Oh yeah, I remember that in Canoga Park.
Yeah, what was that called?
Canoga Park. Yeah.
What was that restaurant called?
I have no idea. It was some Mediterranean vegan shtick. Apparently.
Are you vegan?
I am not. I was a vegetarian for a couple of years, and towards the end of that, it was kind of brutal. Like I was losing a lot of energy. I couldn't find the right substitute, so I was like, it's fine. Like it's not like I eat meat all day. I try to eat less meat regardless, just because it makes me a little groggy. But it's not like a ethical decision. It's more, how it makes me feel.
Yeah, because before this quarantine started, believe it or not, I was vegan for 2 weeks. And
Hey, listen. He swears.
When you say vegan, do you mean you just didn't eat for 2 weeks, or?
No. Okay, here's the thing. I ate eggs. That was the only thing non-vegan that I ate.
Well, that's not vegan. You were a vegetarian.
Yeah.
I know. Everyone says that, but
He swears that he lost like his jawline thinned out or something.
bro, I swear, in 2 weeks.
I love how you said everybody says that. You mean everybody can read the dictionary?
Look, I swear, like in 2 weeks, that vegan diet like cut me like 10 pounds. It was actually, I swear.
So you're saying more Corona? I agree.
No,
I can't complain. A lot of good things came out of it for me. So.
Yeah, but that's my thing is like, the Corona, has that affected your diet in any way at all? Or your exercise or anything like that?
Dude, my life became so nuts. And you want to hear something interesting?
Yes.
So here's what happened to me. That literally the night when this thing became like big, right? There was this one night where like the majority of news channels were basically reporting that this is like, you know, this was declared officially as a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine approached me with this. He had some woman that he knew that, you know, she was from China, and she was part of this thing that's going on, right? Selling masks, all that stuff. And he reached out to me. He's like, he has a coffee shop. Actually, I'm in his coffee shop right now. We're a big cafe.
Oh, wow.
And I always come here to work as an office because there's no one here. It's closed. And he came to me and he said, listen, I'm really busy, but I know you're really well connected. Do you want to give it a stab? I'm like, sure, I have nothing to lose. So I sent literally one email thread to a few friends and a couple of messages on WhatsApp. Just kind of sent it through the network. Dude, what unfolded next, I can write an entire movie about. I don't even have to make anything up. Literally just write a word by word. Like 3 days later, I'm not making any of this up. I'm on the phone with the fucking CIA. We're talking with fucking people who build stadiums, people who work for fucking NASA. We're talking to the James Cameron Foundation. I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? What is happening? I'm like, dude, I make hats. What the fuck is going on? And it just happened to be that one of my really close friends that I sent the message to, I know her through mutual friends from San Francisco, and they're very well plugged in Silicon Valley, and they were connected to this girl who works directly with Steve Jobs. With that's a great combination. With Bill Gates and with Ray Kurzweil, a lot of very powerful people, and she plugged me in with just her contacts, and it just kept on going. And this thing just became insane. Like, I was on the phone all day, every day, like until I just ran out of juice. Like, I can't go on anymore. I would just literally faint. I wouldn't even go to sleep. I would just faint, right? And then I would wake up again and just do this whole shit all over again, probably like a couple hours after. And then when the madness started subsiding, well, the madness didn't subside. I kind of realized that I'm going to lose my mind if I'm not going to structure this. Mm-hmm. So I started like building this thing around it. And then I actually partnered up with the guy who owns this coffee place just around this. We incorporated this whole thing, and now we've built this thing that operates, and it's doing okay, and we're kind of growing with it. But those first few days, when I'm on the phone with like literally James Cameron's brother.
That's crazy.
Oh no, sorry, no, it wasn't a phone. It was a Zoom meeting. And because they have an entire organization that they're putting all their fortune, they're trying to solve the big problems around this pandemic. So they just poured a bunch of money into it. And we, again, through, different connections, we kind of reached them as well. But I think the thing, I had to ask myself, like, it's kind of hilarious, and also it's a great story. But then I had to ask myself, like, what's going on here? Like, nothing happens for no reason, right? Mm-hmm. So why is it that I'm speaking to such powerful people overnight? Now, I know some powerful people. I know people who are very influential. I know personally good friends of mine, but I never had to like swim with them in the business world, right? Because I'm in a completely different ball game. I'm playing a different game. Hollywood is a completely different sphere. Yeah. And I realized that because this whole craziness happened, it's like a nuclear reactor. Literally everything from everywhere got pressed to the middle because everybody came to look for information. Everybody were confused, including CIA, including giant organizations, and people who literally their net worth is like $20 billion, right? And those people, even though they have all this power and money, when something hits that never hit before, they are as lost as you are. They are here to look for information. They need to understand what's happening. They have more clout, and they have more potential to move things just because they know how, and they have the influence and the power and the money. But aside from that, they're locked in this bubble of confusion, just like you are. And that was a really big moment for me because I realized, you know what? First of all, this is a great opportunity because you get to swim with them and you get to actually brush shoulders with them. And whatever relationships you're going to build, they're gonna, you know, that bubble is going to grow later on if you really address it properly. But also, it made me realize how similar we are in many respects, in that I know it sounds the most trite and the most corny thing ever, but we're all just human. Like, you know, it's like there's knowing something and then there's really like the thing really hitting you. And that thing really hit me. Like, oh, they're just like me.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They put their pants on the same way you do in the morning.
Yeah. And they're literally just like, they have the same fucking freakouts. They're the same idiots sometimes. They don't know what the fuck's going on because they're tired and they can't remember their name. It's ridiculous.
It's also a good testament to show, like, no matter how high of a status I guess you are, like when something like this does happen, we're all willing to work together, willing to, if we need each other, knowing that we're there for each other. I guess I could say that we have the potential to do that. But
yeah, I
like
100% agree. That was the silver lining for me. I was like, you know what? This is a great opportunity for the world to see what it's made of.
Right.
Because the things that are coming, the new space industry, everything that revolves around Elon Musk and adjacent industries. I love that Elon Musk is in the center of like Elon Musk and adjacent industries. It's like the guy is so fucking big.
Right.
Adjacent industries. But basically, all those monumental tasks that are coming for sure are going to require a global coordination for sure, right? And this was a great opportunity to kind of do a little dress rehearsal, if you will, of like what we're capable of with everything we've built so far. The internet, the way they will learn how to communicate. Funny enough, like when I look at like, you know, the bigger picture, like memes and stuff like that, even though for the most part we just use it to like put hilarious shit online. When you think about what it is, it's encapsulating as much information as possible in the simplest way possible, right? It's basically optimizing information. And that's what we're all kind of learning how to do faster and faster. So it seems like it's like this bottleneck, and this pandemic came just on time to kind of this was the main test, or maybe like the test before the big test, whatever, however you want to look at it. But that I saw it as such a blessing in that moment because I realized, oh, first of all, the world will never be the same. That's
it's not going to be the same.
The pandemic's going to go away. All those new regulations and our awareness and our fear of things like that hitting us again will always remain with us, or at least for the next few decades. And also, it gives us an opportunity to reconfigure shit that on a personal level and on a global level. And on a personal level, like, notice how many things you notice that you actually don't need to really do in order to be absolutely fine. Like all the things we've convinced ourselves that we must, like all those routines. Now, given we kind of miss a lot of those routines, but at the end of the day, a lot of it can be dropped out and your life will be just fine. And most of it can be done online. Hopefully they'll move courts online, all that shit. That'll be amazing.
No, that's what they're saying. They're talking about canceling, because I'm in college right now, and they're talking about canceling the fall semester and just moving it to online, which would be insane because, but then again, it's like, when do we open up the world again? Because it's like, until this virus is completely gone, theoretically, we can't go back to normal, right? Because it's always going to be around unless we develop antibodies. Well, eventually we will become immune to it as it, hangs around. But I just don't see how it's possible for us to go back to normal life with this still around. You know what I mean?
I'm also curious of what that new normal is, or what that new normal is going to look like.
I just feel like everyone's going to be germaphobes.
Well, that's a given. Yeah, that's for sure.
Like, everyone's just, because here's the thing, like because I play tennis a lot, and I'll go and just play tennis, and I'll come back and wash my hands and like make sure I don't touch my face. And I never did that before.
Bro, you always have to do that after you touch balls. Doesn't matter.
Come on, my guy.
Exactly. No, but I would never, like, even like at the Y, you know what I mean? Like, we'll play basketball and I'll come back and wash my hands. It's like, I never used to think about doing that before, but now every time I walk outside, I want to come back home and like clean up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's a new sense of griminess that comes with being away from home, I guess.
Yeah, and it's like if this virus is like the flu, like everyone's saying, it'll come back seasonally, right? So we're gonna need a vaccine here eventually. But I read somewhere today that they're doing human testing, like starting today or some shit, and it should be ready for emergency situations by September.
Yeah.
I don't know what emergency.
Well, I actually know somebody. So one of the people that I got in contact with through this whole thing, Andre Watson, he actually So the claim is that he actually has a cure. He's the CEO of a biomedical company.
He has a cure. He says.
Cure.
Yeah, they have a cure. So essentially, it's a. If you're really interested, I can just email you some information about it. It's really interesting. It's essentially nanotechnology. It's like a nanobot that it's like a scalpel, and that it basically just holds it prevents the RNA of the virus to actually get in. But what's interesting about it is that they're saying, and he's not a hyperbolic person, so he's not like he's a very serious dude, and he's saying that it's being blocked. They don't give they tried to do like the guy who invested the majority of the money in his company, Eric Greenberg, is a multi-billionaire, and he set up a press conference, the whole 9 yards, everything. Aside from one reporter, nobody came. So that's really interesting, and it might be the case that they just they want to manufacture they want to let things like that in, but I wonder if it's possible that they need those industries to run their courses and to run through the economy before they introduce a cure. And I would never, I'm not big on conspiracy theories, but I know the dude,
Right.
Yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying, because there are people I assume you've heard that thing where we have a cure for cancer, but they're not giving it out because of how much money doctors make and hospitals make from just treatment, like chemo itself, probably, I don't know how much it is, but it's probably so expensive in general, And if there was a cure for cancer, then there would be no need for any treatments or any, doctors for that sake, you know what I mean? So no one's getting paid.
I never took those claims seriously, but now I'm reconsidering, because I'm closer to the thing, right? I know the guy. He's not he's a scientist, very respected and has a big reputation to maintain, and he's very well known. He's kind of like this prodigy kid. I think he's only 28, something like that, and he's he's already way ahead of his game. And he wouldn't make it up. He wouldn't make it up, and that's really bizarre to me. I'm actually trying to look into that, figure out exactly what is going on there, just out of curiosity, not because I don't know how much I can contribute to the situation, but it fascinates me to watch something like this unfold in real time. Somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, this whole thing the world is going through right now, I have a cure. I tried to tell the president, nobody lets me." That's so nuts to me.
It is weird. It is strange. But
I don't want to pander to a conspiracy, but I do feel like with having something like Corona around, there's such a big terror, such a big scare, that it's easy for the government to tell us to stay inside. And I guess that's a sense of control. And then once you say that there's a cure, then there's no need, I guess, to quote unquote control us to that extent anymore. I don't know. That's just something thought, I
would say no. Even if let's say we play along those lines. Let's follow the thread of the logic here. What would be the incentive to keep you inside?
To keep this from dying down. That's the thing I would.
Oh no! You don't mean the corona is not real. You mean?
Oh no! Yeah, I wasn't saying it wasn't real, but I'm saying it's like another little piece of power that we give to them. Them saying, "Hey guys, stay inside." That's us giving another little strip of freedom away. It's also it's kind of like comparing it to saying
but nobody is interested in taking away your freedom. Like not even in the even in the most evil version of the mustache twirling evil guy,
French guy,
right?
yeah.
There's no like that. Well, think about it like this: nobody is interested in anything but something that they have to gain from it. So if you're saying they're interested in taking away my freedom, that's not a real statement, right? The only realistic thing you can say, there's something about taking away my freedom in this particular manner that benefits somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can say, okay, now it makes some sense, right? Nobody's sitting at home like, oh, this Cody dude, yeah, I don't like that he gets to walk around.
Right.
You know, like that's not on anybody's mind. But I would say that, well, first of all, we know from just models, a lot of models that will run. We know for a fact that one of the main ways to fight this is to actually not to come in contact with anybody. So I would say it would be very hard to believe that there's any kind of conspiracy to keep you inside. It's just an order that is based on real information that tells you that this is the best way to do it. And by the way, California is a perfect example of that, because in comparison to New York, we responded really quickly, and we were all everybody basically did what the government said, and we turned out pretty okay. Like
I don't hear much
nothing like New York, right?
No,
and
nothing
that
like
and that is exactly the difference, because everybody stayed at home and responded on time.
Are you guys ready to open back up soon? Is
But most things are actually open. They're just everything is for a pickup, and you can't sit anywhere. The streets are getting a little fuller. It is a little weird because it's such a major city, and it looks like a rural area. Like there's not a whole lot of cars, no people in the streets. It was pretty eerie for a while, but now I would say it's somewhere in the middle. Like I would say that in about a month we're probably going to go back to normal. Well, like normal 2.0.
Yeah.
There's gonna be like new ways of doing things. But I think I really believe that it's a great reset button for everybody. Because first of all, everybody going to be thirsty for human connection,
Yes.
and people are going to be way more open for interaction, which is great. And also we've learned all kinds of shit about ourselves while we were locked in with ourselves and and the people that are close to us.
Yeah, it's crazy because like so many people have filed for like unemployment and all that, and Trump didn't he drop like one economic package, one big one at least, that gave everyone that made under 75K a year $1,000, right? But see, if you're saying we're gonna open up back in a month, then I could see that being fine. But if we're trapped, like if we're gonna be quarantined until a vaccine is found, they're gonna have to drop more economic packages, or people are gonna go broke, homeless, or and starve. You know what I'm talking about? And that's dramatic.
Yeah.
But no, that risk is it would be very real if we wouldn't start seeing the kind of the tail end of the outbreak. It's possible that it's going to have another spike when we go back to normal, but that spike is going to be very different because we will already know how to control it, and now
it'll be worse.
Rest assured that the country is way more prepared because there's way more equipment. The hospitals are ready for it much more, so it's not going to be as bad. The other thing that is good about it is that imagine if Corona would have the killing efficacy, the mortality rate of the Ebola.
Yeah.
I
always say, like, imagine if this was like an airborne Ebola.
Yeah, we would. I'm not sure. I mean, we would make it, but we would be severely crippled.
The species would probably cut in half. I feel like the human species would, like, if there was an airborne Ebola. You know what I'm talking about?
Wait, that last part? I'm sorry?
It would be, if there was an airborne Ebola, I feel like half of the species would be wiped out.
Yeah, it would be crazy. It would be crazy. And and it's not even, it's the fact that spike would be so crazy that literally the entire system would collapse. That would precipitate chaos on the streets, the whole 9 yards, like everything you see in movies. That would for sure happen. Because then people, when the situation is that dire, you always have that first wave of people that were already right on the cusp, because they were the ones that already had nothing going for them, and they were already like on the fence of like just going, fuck it, right? And and those are the people that they're the first wave of the crazies, right? Second, something like this goes, are like, oh, fucking great, because now the external world is in the same turmoil and chaos as they are inside. It matches, and you know that they basically just merge perfectly with it. So just go through the streets and just express that craziness, because the sense is that nobody can actually, they can get away with a lot, and that first wave, those people are not criminals. It's just kind of like, those are the people that are already kind of brewing in this weird state. And the second something like this hits and it gets to that level of bad, those are the first people to kind of go out there and do the crazy shit. And I think there's enough of them to create real pandemonium, like real chaos on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
That would be some seriously apocalyptic move. But luckily we're not there, and luckily something like this happened that kind of helped us prepare if something like this happens. Because I promise you that now the World Health Organization, the CDC, every serious organization deals with this shit. Now they're gonna have protocols for like a severe. Because look, this was circulating when this whole thing just started. That TED Talk by Bill Gates. Did you see that one?
No, I haven't seen it.
Well, you should check it out. It's hilarious. Literally word for word. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. He did a TED Talk warning against exactly this. He's just like, guys, we're not prepared if a pandemic hits. And he literally, and that's why also everybody accused him of like, oh, he must have done this, which is, of course, the stupidest accusation ever. Because, like, the guy is just, he's pretty plugged in, right? He understands what's lacking in the world because he operates on that level. So when the thing unfolds, undoubtedly, then everybody blames him. But it's amazing because literally in the talk, like, it's a little eerie even. Like, it's literally word for word. He's like, dude, he called the world, dude. So he's like, guys, we're not ready. And he was right. So, but luckily, the thing that hit us in order to make us ready for something bigger wasn't like Ebola. Because if it would be, you're right. I don't think, I think half of the population is a little bit of a stretch because there's a lot of people. But yeah, it would be crazy. It would be crazy.
But because I think what you're saying, back to like Netflix and stuff, like you're saying Netflix and like stuff like that is getting so much more money and stuff. Has your fucking brand gotten more revenue since the corona?
You know what? It's funny because right before this hit, we started this potential deal with a couple of guys in Australia. They're the distributors of Fiji water and Fiji rum. And they're really good at marketing and stuff, and they really loved it. So we decided to run with it with them. And
that's hype as shit.
Yeah.
What?
That's hype as shit.
Yes.
Yeah. With them, we decided to focus on skateboards and surfboards and things like that.
Because it's so weird. Because I remember you telling me at the restaurant actually, or maybe it was at Plaza we were at one time, but you were telling me you were starting a clothing brand, and this may have been. Yeah, that's it. But I don't know if you came up with the name Fuck It yet, but how did you come up with the Fuck It name?
So it started actually with a friend of mine who was on the brink of actually ending it. It was a pretty sad moment actually. Mm-hmm. And to make a very sad story, a long sad story short, I kind of pulled him back in a crucial night, and I was checking in on him, every once in a while. And while he was kind of recovering from this incident, he wanted to express himself. So he created not this design of the logo, because this one I made, but something like the original one with the big square. And he made that. He went through a few versions, and he has a great creative mind. So he kind of put it out there, and then he's like, well, you know what? I'm going to slap it on everything and just go to offices and put it on mugs and just, this is how I feel. Like, fuck it, fucking just live. It's a positive fuck it. It's not fuck everything. It means, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it. It's basically just do it on steroids, right? And people responded. People really liked it. So I kind of came in and said, you know what, let's make this into something a little bigger. And we started the company, and then we started making some shirts, and people liked them, and we made skateboards and hats, and people liked them. So, and then we got the attention from the Australian guys, and now we're gonna start making surfboards. But the point is,
So cool.
we are really big on. Eventually, when we get enough traction, we wanna actually utilize whatever profits we make to actually build a channel, to build some kind of a platform that will help people express themselves creatively. Because the whole thrust behind the brand is, if you connect to something creative inside yourself, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what you do, there's something about that adds this extra component in your life that you can't get from anything else. And that's really what we're about. So we want to help the world to be able to express themselves creatively. How we're going to do it exactly, aside from selling some merch, I'm not quite sure yet. All we do now is trying to make sure that every item we make is well crafted, it's well designed, it's something that people would actually enjoy. But aside from that, we want to take it to the next level of helping people also express themselves creatively at a certain point. That's kind of like the idea behind it.
See, Danny, we don't talk that much, but when we do, it's a treat. You always come up.
Yes. I feel like I was hogging the entire conversation, but because I'm the guest, I don't feel so bad about it.
No, it's great. It's great. We want to hear you. But as of right now, what are you guys selling? And the brand? Are you guys just selling clothing? Skateboards you said too?
Fuck It Brand?
Yeah.
If you go on our website, fuckitbrand.com, it's just fuck it spelled without the U. So just FCKIT brand.com. All the items are there. You'll see the hats, the everything we sell, the skateboards, and everything we make, again, is very high quality. Even the skateboards, we went out, it took us like 5 months to find the right company to make the boards exactly how we wanted them. We had a couple of pro skaters test them. They loved them. So, that's, it really, it kind of, the skating part of it really kind of has that grit that we're trying to communicate. But to be quite honest, we're not going to be stuck with just that. We're definitely going to expand, and we're going to make other cool items. I don't have my, I'm basically slapping it on every possible thing now just because, because it's marketing. But like bottle openers, whatever you can imagine. But we're more of a lifestyle brand. The what?
Was it meant to be fuck it without the U, or did you want the U?
Yeah, that was the idea. And also, by the way, a lot of people responded, I think, because it's not just fuck it, it's fuck it brand, which is hilarious because it's an entire brand that is just for fuck it, right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of the idea. And there was a lot of debate on the subject in the beginning because some people really didn't like it. They wanted it without the brand. They just wanted to fuck it. We're slowly going to move to just I don't know if you guys see the video, but we're going to move to only F asterisk at a certain point when everybody's going to know what it is. Only the F asterisk is going to remain. So it's going to always, it's going to represent the entire thing.
That's tough. I like that. Yeah. That's real cool.
Yeah. What do you, so tell me a little bit I see that we got like 6+ minutes left on the thing. What do you guys do all day? Where are you guys right now?
We're currently in Maryland. Tyonn's born and raised in West Virginia.
Okay, let me stop right there. Born and raised Cumberland, Maryland. Number one.
It's funny because he lives in West Virginia. It's an inside joke. He lives in West Virginia, and I always make fun of him for living in West Virginia. But no, I'm currently in Maryland, just chilling. Honestly, we're doing this podcast. We're trying to daily post, trying to get some traction with this. I'm doing film school, just doing stuff. Tyyonn dropped out of college.
I didn't drop out of college. I graduated, but I was
linking information.
I had some things at the Cumberland Theater to do, but because of Corona, haven't been doing any of that. But it's good that we got the stimulus check though, because that's the money I could have made from the theater. That's, I guess, makes up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
No, I think a podcast. I think content is really, really important, and good content,
consistency as well. Crucial.
Yeah, in this period, because people are thirsty for whatever they can get their hands on. Very true. I would say, if you can produce something that is entertaining but also has a little bit of value for people, that shit will sell. There's no question about that.
I know. I'm hoping just with daily posting,
The what?
this daily posting, I'm hoping it eventually will just get a ton of traction. You know what I mean? But
Well, with
guys like
YouTube, because you're posting, I saw that you guys, you basically spread it across all the channels, right?
yeah, Spotify or on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all that.
So I would do, and maybe you guys did, and then forgive me for for telling you, but if I mean, I would do an extensive research on each one of those platforms and how to push things through them, because they're very different animals. Like YouTube is a completely different thing than Spotify, and the way that things grow on YouTube has a completely different trajectory, and the way that people pay attention to something happens on a different time scale, and you need to also have like adjacent things talking about it. Like YouTube is the hardest probably, because it's literally like you need bloggers talking about it as a third party. You need all that stuff, right? You can keep putting it out there, but I think actually pinpointing, because there's a formula to all of those things, and if you can figure out the formula for one of them, that will give you the leverage to use to do it on the other things. Podcasts on YouTube, I think they only become big when they're already big on another platform, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. But that's the thing, is like our YouTube page somehow is our most popular page.
Really?
It gets the most views. And that might be because we were just uploading on YouTube for a long time until we got an RSS feed connected that got us to Spotify and SoundCloud.
Yeah.
But our YouTube page is our most viewed page somehow, yeah. I thought it'd be SoundCloud, honestly, but it's not. All right. Thank you guys for listening to the Generally Speaking podcast. Again, thank you, Danny, for coming. Very, very special guest. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, anything you want to promote? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, well, it was an absolute pleasure. You guys have a very fresh vibe. I like the spirit of the podcast. I listened to the other episodes. I like them. I like how you guys go back and forth. It's actually hilarious. Keep up the good work. And I'll keep up mine, and hopefully we'll talk to each other again.
Yes.
My brand is bucketbrand.com, and my production company, you can find it on Instagram at Dango Productions. Dango Productions. That's it. DANGO Productions. That's the name. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you.
I'm coming down to LA this summer. Once I'm down there, we should meet up sometime.
Absolutely, brother. Always.